welcome back to the channel, and in this video we're doing a recap and review of The Bachelor season 25 episode 9, The Women Tell All. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and turn on your notifications. Also, if you like the video, smash that like button, and then feel free to drop a comment down in the comment section below, because I like to engage with my viewers and subscribers. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So this is The Women Tell All. You know you're getting close to the end of the season when we get to this point. They did show Chris Harrison and also let us know this was pre-recorded February 4th. But they do start off the first set of drama with MJ versus Yesenia. And as we all remember, there was some serious issues between the two of them because of the fact that of the bullying. And, you know, Yesenia wanted to, stand up for the situation. However, their interaction on the show last night only lasts for about a minute. And it's because they're not as fired up about this situation anymore. Of course, Yesenia still thinks MJ was part of that mean girl clique. And then, of course, we hear, MJ still saying, she's not mean. So whatever, they're going to be on their own opinion at this point. Look like they pretty much let it go. But of course, the show wanted to talk about it and address it. But as it stands, it seems like they have, of course, moved on from this point. So that's good to see that we're not stuck in this place. So now things move over to Victoria. She does not get her own hot seat interview in this episode. Now, there was a little bit of back and forth going on with, of course, we remember how we saw Victoria portrayed over the, season 25. And pretty much the gist with Victoria is that she doesn't think what she did is bad. She thinks that some of the other women was just too sensitive, because she's receiving tons of hate online and she's handling it fine. And she said that she's just ready to move on from this experience. And she called, I think, a couple of girls out as being sensitive. And Ryan was one of the ones that really didn't take too kindly of that. And the thing about that is people respond or react to things differently. Just because Victoria may be able to handle whatever is happening online with her doesn't mean that lessens, the reactions or responses of the other girls. So now that brings us over to Katie. And if you remember in the season, Katie and Victoria had this back and forth because, of course, Katie was trying to stand up for all of the mean girl things that was going on in the house. And Victoria, pretty much was like, yeah, I hear you, but no. So now it comes back to the actual Women Tell All. And, Katie actually said that some of the backlash that the women are getting regarding how they acted in the house is their karma. And some of the girls did not take kindly to what she had to say. I mean, Chelsea was one of these people who said this, which, of course, Katie amended her statement and says, because death threats and things like that are totally not acceptable. I mean, you might not like what somebody said or did, but, sending people toxic things such as death threats and things like that, I can understand why they say, karma that comes with that. But they did say, their actions in the house are their responsibility. A few of the women are pretty anti-Katie and believe she made the house toxic by telling Matt how the house was toxic. I don't buy that. I just think that there were some folks who maybe didn't like the fact that she just spoke up, which kind of ripped off everything that was uncovered with what was going on in the house. And, of course, we remember, Victoria's behavior, Anna's behavior when spreading a rumor about Brittany, her being an escort, all of those things that, was what Katie was reporting out. So, I mean, a lot of folks, the ones, that, of course, that was doing the, behavior, of course, they're not going to like that. Speaking of Brittany is now in the hot seat with Chris. And She's actually the first woman that actually has the one-on-one interview with him. He brought up the rumor about, and one of the craziest rumor that he claimed he had ever heard in the history of the show. And yeah, I haven't seen anything like this in other episodes, whether it's The Bachelor, Bachelorette, or anything. I've seen girls go and tell the Bachelor, or guys tell the Bachelor or Bachelorette that somebody's not here for the right reason. But nothing like we saw this season. And of course, this is the situation with Anna, because she was getting messages from people back home saying that, as we remember, she get paid to be an escort and things like that. And of course, she told Matt about it as well, and he was not happy about that. Because I think they're from the same hometown in Chicago. And Brittany, she was upset. And honestly, I don't blame her. I mean, especially a vicious rumor. Because she says now when you search her online in Google, that's the first thing that comes up. She was also sad to watch herself go from confident to torn down within 24 hours of being on the show. However, we do see where Anna apologizes. She's trying to be genuine. She says that she spread the rumor that supposedly she heard from people in her hometown because she was insecure. And of course, Brittany says that, she doesn't want Anna's life to be destroyed by people coming after her because of this. And she also wants to address the people that work in the industry that don't let anybody tear you down. She also added that, and then, nobody's life means more or is worth less because of their occupation. So it seems like, of course, Anna regrets everything of how it was portrayed on the show. She was saying that she heard it from her ex-boyfriend and some other friends of Brittany. We don't know. It's still a rumor, but this is how it was portrayed on yesterday's episode. And, the thing is that, again, when you're in the public eye, things and how they're portrayed, perceptions of people, it can really take a dark turn. And with her saying things like this, even Brittany says, my mom watches the show. I mean, it was just unfortunate, she said, for her entire life to be torn down in 24 hours of being on the show. So, hopefully, they can get past this. It seems like, again, Anna is being genuine in her apologies. But usually what's out on the internet, it stays out there for a long time. So, hopefully this is not with her saying this on the show and letting everybody know in the public eye. And then, of course, Anna apologizing. Hopefully this would be helpful to the both of them. So then they go on to talk about missing group dates that wasn't aired. And one of them was a pancake eating contest. And then there was a beer chugging contest that they had. We didn't get to see any of that stuff. It was kind of hilarious, the fact that they were able to let us see that last night. I thought it was pretty funny. They also had to, I think, drink eggs. But there's some clips coming up of that. But they also, a few of the girls had to put their arms into boxes full of bugs to find a ring. I'm like, ew. And I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if I could do that. I'm not a bug person. But that was one of the group dates, parts of the group dates that we did not get to see. So let me know what you guys think. Would you want to see these, or would some of this stuff creep you out, or you think they should have just left it out? Because, again, the other thing that they did that we didn't get to see is to drink a raw egg, which obviously this is something that Matt does as part of his diet. So the girls had to do that as part of the challenge. And some of them, they actually did well with this, except for Katie. Katie did not do well with this. I think it made her stomach upset. So we didn't get to see any of that. So let me know if this is something that you think they should have added in the show. So speaking of Katie, Katie is our next young lady that's in the hot seat. And as we remember, they gave us clips of her journey and how she came to the show. Some of the fun times that both her and Matt had while, during their dating process. But the biggest thing is when she originally came to the show is how she brought a dildo to the show. And of course, Matt was dying laughing. And the girls saw it too. And they thought it was hilarious as well. And then the thing is, of course, we see the continuous part of their journey. He early on had a connection with Katie, but it seems as time went on, as we saw, and I think they had that one-on-one date. That's when he said that, relationships with other women had progressed further than the two of them. And so she was sent home. So this is where we see Chris talking to her in the hot seat. And she talks about how she turned 30 and has spent time during this pandemic getting to know herself. She talks about not wanting to compromise her personality for a man, which I think is great. You need to be you. And she also, ask herself questions about what she's looking for in a partner and looking for the signs when that person comes along and seeing, who that person might be for her. So obviously from this season, it definitely wasn't Matt. But, hopefully she can find that, her person who's going to like her for who she is and her personality. She did say that was one thing that she liked about Matt is because of the fact that she's so outspoken and everything. He appreciated that about her. He didn't downplay it or try to have her tone that down. So I thought that was great, and I look forward to seeing what's next. Maybe the Bachelorette? We don't know. So the next person is Abigail. And when she takes the hot seat, before we get into detail, they also show her journey with Matt. And one of the things that she did mention when she originally met Matt is the fact that she is deaf. And they showed their journey. And actually, I had Abigail in my final four. I didn't expect her to leave so soon, but obviously it didn't work out. Matt had progressed relationships with other people, and so Abigail was, of course, sent home. But she talks about with Chris how she felt blindsided by this. I think I was kind of blindsided myself when Matt sent her home, and how she was left with a lot of ifs or what ifs. She also opens up about how she feels about being in the gray space in the hearing community and the deaf community because she has a cochlear implant and she doesn't use sign language. She says she's also have gotten positive feedback for providing representation on the show. I honestly think that was a great thing. The thing is, she really goes into detail in regards to her situation and the fact that she was allowed this opportunity to do so. And like I said, I honestly thought that she was going to go really far. Let me know what you guys think about, her being on the show. And also if you thought maybe she was going to go farther. There was some clips also of tweets that, people were cheering her on. One person said her daughter at age 7 also was in a similar situation. So, when you see comments like that and you realize what an impact that you have on people's lives, it's really, really, it makes you appreciative. It makes you grateful that you were able to, help someone or inspire someone, in a similar situation as yours. So now it's Piper's turn. Of course, we get to see Piper's journey too. And, of course, her and Matt hit it off really well. They had that great one-on-one carnival date with the Ferris wheel and everything. I thought actually that was the best one-on-one date that I saw this entire season. Let me know what you think. Some of the girls got driving and all that stuff, but I actually think this one was awesome. She was sent home out of not receiving a rose. And of course, now her being in the hot seat, she says she was definitely in love with Matt. And of course, she said when the clip of their breakup played, she still feels the shock from it. However, she does feel that she's grown as a person. She said she know what she want. I will never settle again, she says. She, however, did admit some big fears that she had and insecurities during the season. And, of course, we did see a lot of that. But honestly, her emotion when she got sent home, I mean, she was really in love with this guy. I mean, that's my perception. Let me know what you guys think. It broke her heart to know that, Matt did not choose her, especially coming down that close and that far into, the competition. So next we have Serena P. And we also see their journey. One thing about Serena, she is definitely bubbly and chatty. She's a fun girl who, loves to talk, socialize, and things like that. And of course, we saw their journey as it took place. The only difference in this situation with the two of them, and actually she was another one I thought that was going to get far, which she did. She technically did. She made it to hometowns. But it was her walking him out. And I don't know if you've seen my video from the previous week saying that she walking him out kind of like a flip, like he would normally do with the girls. He was really disappointed, and she sent him home, and of course she went home herself. So as I said before, she's very bubbly personality. She's very chatty, and even when she had to relive her breakup, it was the same for her. She also doesn't regret breaking up with Matt after hometowns. Of course, Chris asked if there's any part of her that's conflicted. She said straight up no. And she just kind of talks around it and says that, she felt guilty about hurting him, but would have been doing him a disservice by staying. And so she felt that she clearly made the right decision for her. And you know what? I got to give her kudos for that, because I would prefer if a person is straight up honest than playing you around. So, she did the right thing there. So now here comes Matt and his beard, and he's in the hot seat for all of the women, to ask some questions and be able to talk. Chris asked him why he decided to grow a beard, and Matt said, I feel wiser with that beard. He also said he likes to put on a little baby powder in his beard, and look in the mirror and imagine what he would look like as a grandpa. Matt is so funny. So we saw Matt spending some time reassuring the women who, behave badly, that they actually really have good hearts and he likes them, and that he can't judge anyone because he's never been a contestant himself on the show before. So who knows what anyone would do in this situation. So, he definitely has empathy. He likes to look at both sides of things. He didn't want to judge them completely, and I know it depends. Some people might not like the fact he didn't go in hard on them, and some people say, hey, let live, but that's how he handled it. And also it seems like the girls that had participated in the drama were definitely okay with his response, to all of this, as we saw. So next we have this thing with him and Victoria. And this thing takes a whole step further. And when she started crying, as she thanks Matt for believing in her and explains how her exit was so dramatic because she was going through layers of pain. Matt says he knows her heart and he wishes he could have done more for her in their relationship. But, I didn't see a connection there. I honestly didn't. Let me know what you think about this. If you saw the show last night with the whole interaction between him and her and their explanations, I didn't even think that they were going to get that far. She spent a lot of time with situations in the house versus building a solid romantic relationship with him. So, you know, maybe, you know, I can't speak for him, you know, in his mind and what his thoughts were. But I honestly did not see anything, you know, materializing with him. And then we see his interaction with Katie and Piper and Abigail. And they all have something in common. How did I get blindsided? And it seemed that it's because he treats every romantic partner that he had the same. So a lot of them that were blindsided had no idea what direction he was going to go to until they actually heard it from him. So then there's a little fun bit, because a common thing that we saw this season with Matt is him kissing with his eyes open. He says he didn't know that you were supposed to kiss with your eyes closed. He thought that when he, you know, this is something that people do. And, you know, it depends. People have different kissing styles. He says either you're trying to peep at the women because his eyesight is bad, so that's the only time he can get a good look at them, or no one ever told him that he shouldn't do that. Well, some of the girls did tell him, and I think Piper was one of them. Piper and Serena. But the thing is, that was definitely something that, you know, it was a big topic this season. He also said that he saw it on TV playback and he was like, man, that looked weird. So you never really know what you look like until you see yourself on TV. But there were other bloopers that they ended the show with, where we see, you know, him trying to ride the bike and he ended up falling on his back. He actually tried to do some rollerblading type situation. And then the final thing is that after Serena gets out of the hot tub, he says, can somebody hand me my robe, because I don't think I can get out. I don't want nobody to see this boner I have. So, I mean, it was a pretty interesting show. Let me know what you guys think about the show last night. I know it's a lot going on right now in regards to the franchise, but we'll just have to keep watching and see what happens next. So, next week, or the week after, I think they said the 15th, is the finale. So let's do our post notification shout outs. Our first one goes to Terry Williams. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel. I really appreciate it. And thanks again to Francis Harmon. I'm glad you enjoy the videos. Thank you as well for your comment and engaging in the channel. So until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon.